Welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and of course, as always, your English will improve today. Have you ever tried to talk to someone but had a difficult time keeping the conversation going? It might not seem difficult to hold a conversation since we talk all the time, but actually, sometimes it can be very difficult. Well, yesterday we started learning about how to hold a conversation. Well, guess what? We get to continue this topic today in a lesson called Holding Conversations. I bet you already knew that, though. Well, here are some fun phrases we're going to talk about today, including come up with. Come up with, what does that mean? Don't worry, you will find out. And don't fear silence. Well, friends, I know you have your magazines, so make sure you open them and look at them. And let's begin.
Holding conversations. Questions can also help if you're struggling to think of something to say. If you ask the other person a question, they'll talk for a while. Maybe they'll say something you relate with and can reply to. People are generally excited to find others with similar interests. When you ask questions, try to come up with open-ended ones. That means questions where the answer is more than just yes or no. Open-ended questions in English tend to start with who, what, when, where, and why.
Hi everyone, welcome to Language Lab. 首先我们看 generally 这个副词 generally 是指大体上、一般地或者是通常。例如 This restaurant is generally fully booked on weekends. 这家餐厅周末通常座位都被订满了。或者是 Generally speaking, girls in their teenage years mature earlier than boys. 一般而言，在青春期阶段，女生都比男生成熟得早。如果去掉字尾的 ly, general 是形容词。例如 This movie is too deep for general audiences. 这部电影对一般观众而言太深奥了。如果是 in general 的话，意思就是一般来说，当副词片语来使用，和 generally 的意思差不多。例如 In general, Asian parents tend to be overly protective of their children. 一般而言，亚洲父母比较会过度保护小孩。继续我们看的是 come up with 这个片语动词。Come up with something 是指提出或者是想出某个主意或想法。例如 The client didn't like our proposal and we need to come up with a better one in 24 hours. 客户不喜欢我们的提案，我们必须在24小时内想出更好的提案。或者是 Our sales department came up with a good idea for increasing the company's sales. 我们的销售部想出了可以增加公司销售的好点子。或者是 Let's discuss this topic in groups and see what solutions we can come up with. 我们分组来讨论这个主题，看看是不是能够想出什么解决方案来。
Hey everyone! Now, yesterday we started talking about, having a conversation and making sure the conversation goes back and forth. And if you don't know what to say, maybe you should ask a question. Well, we're going to continue with that idea of asking a question. We read questions can also help if you're struggling to think of something to say. If you ask the other person a question, they'll talk for a while. Gabe, if I ask you a question, you enjoy that, right?
Excuse me?
You like it when I ask you a question, right?
Oh, you were asking me a question. Yes, yes. I do. I do enjoy being asked questions, actually.
Because you enjoy talking, you enjoy
about
sharing.
myself. Yes, I do.
Yes.
You're right about that.
Yes, you just proved my point.
But you know what? If this is an interesting point here. Our lesson says if you ask the other person a question, they'll talk for a while. And they said you should ask a question because sometimes you're struggling of thinking of something to say. But here's something to remember, friends. When you ask a question, listen to what that person is saying. Don't start getting nervous and thinking about the next thing you're going to say. No, actually listen because that will help you with the next thing you're going to say.
And that's exactly what our lesson says. Maybe they'll say something you relate with and can reply to. People are generally excited to find others with similar interests. Now, there's a couple of things that we want to discuss that have to do with this idea. The first is to find common ground. If you find common ground with someone, that just means that you have a shared interest or belief or an opinion of something. And usually, you guys don't really have a lot in common. So you finally found something that you guys share an interest in.
That's right. That's how I would use that phrase as well. It's like I'm trying to look for common ground. And we found common ground, okay? It's usually a phrase you use with someone that you don't naturally agree with on a lot of things, right? But it's important to try to find common ground with people that we disagree with if we're going to talk about something important or if we're going to have some kind of relationship. Try to find common ground.
That's right. And another phrase that is not in our lesson, but we feel like you should know is to have something in common with someone. That just means that you find a similar interest in something. So maybe two different people have two completely different or lots of different interests, but you actually found something in common.
And Rebecca, I think we have a lot of things in common.
We actually do.
Yeah, right? Like we both love cats.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we just found out earlier this month that Batman was our favorite childhood superhero.
Yep, and we've never talked about that before, but yes, we have that in common too.
What else do we have in common?
Well, we both live in Taiwan.
Well, yeah, that's true.
That's definitely another one. And, we both have big families, you know. I have lots of siblings. You have lots of siblings.
That's right. There's a total of 6 kids in your family, right?
And you have 5, right?
Exactly.
See?
It's a pretty big family. Something in common.
That's
Friends,
right.
what do you have in common with other people, or what do you have in common with some of your friends? Talk about that in English.
Well, we continue on here. When you ask questions, try to come up with open-ended ones. Now let's take a look at this word, or these words, open-ended questions versus closed-ended questions. An open-ended question is just a question that can be answered with more than just yes or no. Like, do you like cats?
Yes or no? Oh yeah, that's a closed-ended question.
Yeah, that's a closed-ended question.
So an open-ended question, a way to practice open-ended questions is by trying to remember to use one of these words at the beginning of your question. Who, what, when, how, why, those kinds of words or those kind of questions are usually open-ended questions. They'll get the person to talk a little more than just saying yes or no.
Right. For example, when did you move to Taiwan? Or where did you go to college? Or why do you like Studio Classroom?
You know, whys are great open-ended questions. Usually they get people to talk a lot more. That's a great question, friends. Why do you like Studio Classroom? Talk about that in English. But right now it's time for us to go to the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome to InfoCloud. We all appreciate sincere and honest conversations. But Rex, have you ever met someone who sweet talks you into doing something you didn't necessarily want to do?
Oh, of course. I usually avoid talking to people who sweet talk, which means to talk in a very comforting and pleasing way to persuade someone to do certain things.
For example, a salesperson may sweet talk a customer into buying a low-quality product, or a boyfriend sweet talks his girlfriend into forgiving him for cheating.
As you can tell, sweet talk has a certain negative connotation that suggests the speaker is saying something that sounds a lot better than it actually is.
The car salesman sweet-talked my dad into buying this expensive car. This implies that the car salesman is saying something that probably is not true to persuade the person to make the decision.
Sweet talk can be used both as a verb or a noun. If you use it as a verb, you need to put a hyphen between sweet and talk.
As a side note, the person doing the sweet talk could be male or female.
我们常常听到男生对女生甜言蜜语，把对方哄得晕头转向的。英文称呼这种行为是 sweet talk。这个用语可以当作动词来使用，也就是用一种令人非常愉悦的说话方式，企图说服对方去相信或去做某件事情。The car salesman sweet-talked my dad into buying this car. 汽车业务员花言巧语地说服我爸买了这台车。Sweet talk 当作动词使用时，必须要有一个 hyphen 连字符号，将两个字连接起来。这就是今天的 Info Cloud， 我们下次云端见。
I'd like to go to Granville Island. Can you tell me how to get there?
Take the blue line heading towards Water Street and get off on Granville Street. Walk out of exit 2. You will see a bus stop. Take bus 99 heading towards Oak Street and get off at Granville Island bus stop.
Line.
Head. Exit. Bus stop.
About how long is the bus ride?
About 15 minutes.
Okay. Thank you for your help.
You're welcome. Have a nice day. Bye.
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are talking about holding a conversation. Now, most people like to have conversations with people at some point in time, and one way to keep a conversation going is by asking questions. However, you may want to try to use open-ended questions rather than close-ended questions. Now, sometimes when you're in the middle of a conversation, you might feel a little awkward if there's some silence. Well, this next section is called Don't Fear Silence. Let's learn more about this now.
Holding conversations. Don't fear silence. Don't panic if the conversation has quiet moments. Every conversation has some. Think of them as opportunities to change the subject to something you're interested in. You could also comment on something you've done recently. Or, once again, you can ask a question about the other person. As with any skill, you will improve at holding conversations with time. So if you're shy, be brave, ask a question, and start a conversation.
Alright， 接下来我们看 comment 这个动词 ，ment 这个字根有心智或思想的意思，所以 comment 是指评论或谈论。如果要说明评论什么的话，是用 on 这个介系词。例如 ，The chief refused to comment on this case because it's under investigation。由于案情在调查中，警察局长拒绝对这个案子发表评论，或者是 It's not my place to comment on the boss's decision。以我的身份不适合对老板的决定做任何评论。Comment 也可以当名词，例如 The movie star's comments on the upcoming election caused heated controversy。 这位电影明星对于即将来临的选举的评论引起了激烈的争议。最后我们看 recently 这个副词 ，recently 是指最近的、近来或近日。例如 Brenda recently moved to Chicago with her family。Brenda 最近举家搬到芝加哥。或者是 It has rained very often recently， 最近常常下雨。或者是 The prices of recently sold homes in this area range from $200,000 to $300,000。这个区域最近卖出的房子的房价在20万美金到30万美金之间。如果去到字尾的 ly，recent 就是形容词。例如 In recent years, more and more people have started vegan diets。近年来，越来越多人开始吃全素饮食。And now let's get back to our teachers.
Well, this next section will be very helpful for a lot of people, I believe. It's called Don't Fear Silence. Now, sometimes when you're having a conversation with somebody or different people, there may be times where there are moments of silence because you guys ran out of things to talk about. Hey, Gabe, are you okay over there?
Rebecca, are you feeling a little bit awkward because there was a silence?
Actually, yeah, a little bit because, why were you silent anyway?
Well, because that's what our lesson is talking about. And it's true, friends. You know, sometimes we might feel a little bit nervous when there's an awkward silence. Sometimes we call that a lull in the conversation, L-U-L-L. And it has been said that every 7 minutes, on average, there is a temporary lull in conversations.
Yes, and it could be a little awkward. In my heart, I was starting to panic.
Don't worry, I'm right here.
Okay, good. Just making sure. Well, our lesson says don't panic if the conversation has quiet moments. Every conversation has some. Think of them as opportunities to change the subject to something you're interested in. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this phrase to change the subject. I'm sure at some point in time you've had a conversation with someone, and you thought the conversation was rather boring, not really interesting to you. And then all of a sudden, there is that moment of silence, so you could start talking about something that you're interested in. That's changing the subject.
Rebecca, what do you think about sending your cat Mittens up into space?
Oh, whoa, that was a big change of subject. Mittens is not going to space.
No?
She is not going anywhere.
I was just thinking, you know, maybe
space.
it would be cool, no?
No.
I just wanted to change the subject because we've been talking about conversations for a while.
Yeah, hey, speaking of sending people to space, how would you like to go up to space? You and Isaac, you and your son can go together.
You like this subject, don't you? You know what? I think we need to stay on subject.
Yeah.
Stay on topic here.
I just want to stop talking about mittens.
Okay, fine. No more mittens.
I mean,
And
going to space.
maybe one day I will take my son up to space if they make it a lot cheaper for individuals like us to go to space. But that's something I think in the very distant future. Now, let's get back to the subject here at hand. We read here, you could also comment on something you've done recently. What have you done recently, Rebecca?
What have I done recently? Oh, I've done a lot of things recently. I'm just trying to think. I've done some reading. I
Was
read
that
a
yesterday,
book.
or?
Yeah, I studied some Chinese and
Okay.
I did a little bit of traveling. Do you want some more things I've done recently?
Well, that was really recent.
Yeah.
So, like, what about like a month ago? Did you travel? That's pretty recent too.
Yeah, that is pretty recent.
Yeah.
So I do enjoy traveling. I like to go to new places. And then recently, well, played some games.
Okay, good. So, friends, the idea of something that is recent or using the word recently could talk about something that happened a day ago or last week, last month, perhaps in the last year. The word recently usually means something that is a lot closer than, I guess, a year ago or more.
That's right. Well, continuing on, or once again, you can ask a question about the other person. Continuing with the next part of our lesson, as with any skill, you will improve at holding conversations with time. Now we see the phrase as with any. This is just another way of saying as is true of.
Okay, so as with any of our studio classroom lessons, you should review today's lesson. But I like this phrase at the end of the sentence, holding conversations with time, you will improve with time?
Right, and this is just another way of saying that it's a phase. You know, something will happen after something else becomes possible or happens, and usually it's a phase of some sort.
So, if you're shy, be brave, ask a question, and start a conversation. But not right now. It's time for us to enjoy today's review skit.
Let's learn a new skill.
Yeah, teach me how to build a birdhouse.
A birdhouse? No, today I'm going to teach you how to hold a conversation.
Hey, that's nothing new. People talk all the time.
Yeah, we talk to friends frequently, but what about meeting new people?
Oh, that makes me nervous.
So, let's learn some ways to make conversations fun.
And less awkward?
Yes. As strange as it seems, much of communication happens without any words.
How is that possible?
Easy. Body language.
Oh, by the way we stand and act?
Yes. When you talk with someone, stand up straight and look them in the eye. This shows that you are confident.
But I'm not. I'm nervous.
Well, me too, but acting confident helps you feel confident.
Okay, I can try.
All right, now you can also lean forward. Not that much. It shows that you're interested.
Well, if I'm not interested, I just do all the talking.
Oh, no. A good conversation is when both people participate.
Back and forth?
Right. So remember to pause. Give the other person time to speak too.
But what if they don't say anything?
Well, try asking open-ended questions.
Open-ended?
Yes, questions that start with who, what, when, where, and why.
Yeah. Let them answer. Maybe I'll relate to something they say.
Exactly. People are generally excited when others share similar interests.
But what if there's silence?
Oh, don't panic. It's an opportunity to change the subject. Talk about something you did recently or ask a question.
Those are good tips. Thanks. Knowing how to have a conversation is a helpful skill.
Yes, be prepared to meet people with confidence.
Confidence!
Hi, guys. Hey, how are you?
Want to build a birdhouse?
If you're struggling to hold a conversation, here are 3 good reminders. Ask open-ended questions, look for common ground, and don't fear silence. Well, friends, thank you for joining us today, and make sure you come back next time as we learn about something completely new, right here on Studio Classroom.
A friend cares at all times. A friend endures at all times. A good friend lasts a lifetime. I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.